Hey, what's up, everybody? Uh, this is going to be attempt number 3. I don't want the video to be too long, but there is a lot of things to go over when looking at this knife. First, I wanted to point out is that it is made in Texas. It is very similar to Microtech. Most of their knives actually kind of mirror the Microtech catalog, but the feel of it does feel like a lot of the Microtechs that I have fired in the past. Uh, it's got a pretty hefty weight to it, and it is, all intents and purposes, just a regular OTF, but at half the price of what you're going to pay for a Microtech. So, and sometimes if you find the right store that's actually retailing these, uh, they're less than half the price. So this was actually retailed at $78 in my local gun store. So that's going to be a large positive, especially if you are wanting to get into a good OTF prior to getting, like, even if you wanted to use it as like a gateway to see if you even like them before you go spend the money on something like a Benchmade or a Microtech. This could kind of tell you what you like and what you don't like about them. They are aluminum scales, deep carry pocket clip, which the pocket clip is my largest complaint. The way it's constructed, I feel like you might be able to hinge that by getting it caught on something. And it does have a little bit more play in it than what I like. I would prefer it to be a little bit stiffer, a little bit more rigid, but it doesn't tear up your pocket when you're putting it in and out of your jeans. And it is something that is it does retain it very well. Now, this company also sends a sheath with it, even though that's not how I'm going to carry it. I like that they kind of kept the value up by adding more things to it. So plastic case to keep it in if you want. This is technically a glass breaker, but I would not use it for that. It's got the lanyard holes, so I'm probably going to throw like a leather lanyard with a brass bead on it just to give it a little bit of a different look. For those of you who are new to OTFs, this is a double action OTF, meaning that if you go back to my other video with my Schrade, that's a single action. You had to release the blade and retract it back to reset the mechanism. This one, the mechanism is double action. So you push forward to deploy, push backward to send it back. And it's got, their badging here, their name here, badging on the pocket clip, and badging on the blade. And you can see that it is D2 steel. So that is actually something that I like about it, is that it's got a good steel to it. It's got a good weight, and the mechanism works great. I've only had one misfire in the entire time I've been messing with it, and I was doing kind of like just playing motion, and that was the one misfire. I was playing with the button maybe too quickly. I don't know. If you do have a misfire, you can either grab the blade and pull it forward, or you can throw your hand out, and once it gets back on the track, you pull it back and the button works same as ever. It does have a lifetime warranty on there. I've never utilized the warranty, never talked to the customer service, so I don't know how that process would go. However, for the majority of us, that's probably never going to be an issue. I know that the place that I bought mine from, they've been selling these for a little more than a couple of years now, and they've never had one brought back for a warranty issue. So that's one good thing to note about it. This is one of the smaller versions. This is, if you go back and compare it to Microtech, Microtech has about a 70%, meaning that's 70% of the size of the original. And that's kind of what I wanted, because I'm not in a situation where I'm going to need a very large blade in an OTF fashion. I carry multiple blades for different purposes. I've got a Swiss Army knife on my keychain, a pocket tool for actually working with it. The Swiss Army knife is more for cleaning fingernails out and things like that. And this is going to be more for opening letters and boxes and things like that. So this is not a self-defense tool for me. This is more of I like to carry a knife on my pocket for quick access to open Amazon and things like that. And it works perfect for that. It's got that D2 still, which is going to be great. And it's got the warranty and the weight and everything that I would be looking for. And for realistically, more than 90% of most knife users, this is what we need. I have work knives for when I'm doing my construction stuff. I have camp knives for when I'm doing camp stuff. I have multi-tools, and I have knives to fight with and tactical stuff. And that's not what I would consider the purpose of this to be. Now, that being said, I do have friends in law enforcement that do carry OTFs. I don't know if that's their only blade, but in most situations, I don't see law enforcement utilizing, sorry about the bell, I don't see most guys in law enforcement utilizing a blade in very much more than what an office person would be. And, you know, it's to open things, maybe cut a zip tie, maybe open a package of some sort. I doubt that they're going to be fighting with their folding knives. Now, that being said, I do know a lot of officers that carry a fixed blade as a backup knife, as a last ditch type effort, but their folding knives really aren't for that use. I've heard Benchmade has claimed that the Benchmade Infidel has been deployed with military to, you know, Afghanistan and Iraq. I never personally saw someone with an OTF, but I do like the idea of having a button for deploying your blade when wearing gloves. When I wore gloves, I used the CRKT M16 because of its flipper tab. And when I was done using the knife, I would take the glove off and close it, which can be cumbersome. I also had Protec, one of their original designs, and you push the button to open, you push the button to close, but it was a side opening. The mechanism on this, I would not recommend for deployment use. Now, if you have experience with an OTF being forward deployed, please drop it down in the comments. We could utilize your experience with that. But I've really liked the machining that they've done on the blade. It's got a pretty cool grind on it, I think. It's Tonto blade, which I like in my OTFs. I even kind of like it when there's serration on part of the blade. And it's like the half serrated where it's down in this area. But I've been really satisfied to this point. Wanted to kind of let y'all know about it. And kind of get to give y'all some information. I hate that I'm saying so much. But I'm trying to think of the correct way of phrasing some things. With the Schrade OTF that I have, it is bigger than this. It is a single action. And that being said, it has a safety down here on this part of the handle. This one has no safety, and that does concern some people. I have never had it fire while in my pocket. If you have had an OTF fire in your pocket, please drop it in the comments and let us know what the situation was. But to me, I'm not worried about this knife causing injury in my pocket. It is something to be aware of. You know, this button here does take a little work to push, but I guess in the right circumstance, it could happen. I have never personally experienced it. On that same token, it's more toward, it's not centered. There are some OTFs that are centered, but a lot of them fire from one side or the other. It doesn't really affect me a lot in what I do. It may or may not affect you in what you do. But the best thing I can tell you to do is to pick one up and try it. This Cobratec does have a website. And like I said, if you want one and it's exactly what you always hoped for, that's great. If you're using it as a gateway into the OTF community and later you plan on you know, paying the $220+ it takes to get one of the more name brands, then at least you've got the experience behind it before you made the purchase, and maybe that helped you out in one way or another. If you have any questions about it, if you have any, you know, experiences that I haven't personally had happen to me, this has only failed once in all of the times that I've fired it, but again, it was because I was playing with it instead of just using it like a tool like it's intended. So that could have been on me. But, you know, questions, comments, you know, drop them below. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Only about 10% of the people who watch these videos are actually subscribed to the channel, so definitely make sure you hit that button. And if you've got someone in, you know, that's looking at OTFs, have questions, you know, share the video with them, and if they have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them as well. Thanks again for watching Van on the Loose. We'll see you next time.